Hi everyone, it's Lauren. Apologies, I've got a bit of a cold today, so I have a bit of a scratchy throat, but we will soldier on because that is what it means to be British. I have a haul video for you today because, of course I do. I was gonna wait and do a haul after Christmas because I knew that I'd obviously amassed quite a lot of books between now and January, but I've actually acquired so many already that I thought it'd probably be better for me to do a short haul now and then another one after we've had Christmas. So the first few books that I have to show you today are published by Faber and Faber. Faber hosted an event a few weeks ago at their offices just to go through what they're going to be publishing next year, and it was lovely. They gave us a little tour of the archives. It was a really nice evening, and then they gave us a little goodie bag of some upcoming releases to take away. So some of the ones that I'm particularly excited about are The Lucky Ones by Julianne Pacheco. Now this is a set of short stories which are taking place between Colombia and New York. I don't know if they're linked into one distinct narrative or if it's more about world building, but it sounds like a really interesting juxtaposition. Julianne Pacheco was raised in Colombia, so I find that very interesting. I really enjoy reading literature about South America, so yeah, I think this is going to be a little bit different to anything I've read before. The next one I'm really interested / kind of bemused by, and that is The Impossible Fortress by Jason Rekulak. When this was being described to us, it reminded me of a sort of Ready Player One type book, because I think they live their lives as if they are in a video game, or it's written as though it's kind of a video game, but it's not about a video game. This is about a group of teenage boys in the 80s who are trying to find a Playboy magazine. So I'm getting a bit of like, maybe this is similar to Stranger Things meets Ready Player One meets kind of pornography. I don't know, but it sounds kind of really cool, and I don't really know what to say about it, probably until I've read it myself. I'm also really excited to read Future Sex by Emily Witt. This is a non-fiction book. Emily Witt kind of found herself single in her 30s and decided to go on a bit of a journey of self-discovery, I suppose, to work out what it means to be single and to date and to have sex in this modern era. And she tries a lot of different things. So we've got sort of live webcams, internet porn, polyamorism and internet dating, and all these different aspects of modern life. And all the guys at Faber who had read this were saying that they found it really hilarious and really insightful. And yeah, it sounds really interesting, so I'm really looking forward to reading that one. And then something that I'm really interested by is these little pamphlets by Paul Auster. Now when I first got these out of my goodie bag, I thought that this was going to be poetry, but it's actually 4 short stories, and it's called 4321. You can see they're numbered like this. These are kind of proof copies. I don't know how this is going to be sold in the actual shop, if it's going to be separate books or if it's going to be one big volume, but this is 4 versions on the same man's life, and they're 4 imagined parallel narratives from the same human being, and kind of, if your life went this way, what would that be like? And it sounds really cool, and I think you can presumably read them in any order. This is out at the end of January next year, so I'm really looking forward to reading it. It's a really interesting concept, and I'm going to look forward to seeing how they actually publish it in reality. I also have another book of short stories, which is Apricot Jam by Alexander Solzhenitsyn, I think, sorry. I saw this on Jen's channel ages ago, and she was getting rid of a few books recently, and she was saying, you know, if anybody wants these, I'm having a clear out, and I was just like, yes, I'll have this, please. These are a group of short stories which were written after Alexander Solzhenitsyn was, he was exiled from Russia, and these were written after he had returned up until his death. So other than knowing when they were written, I don't really know what they're going to be about. So that's kind of really intriguing. And finally, I have a little pile of books that I bought the other weekend because we had our meetup at Libreria in London a few weekends ago, which was really good fun. So thank you to everyone who came. It was really nice to meet everybody. And what we'd done is said to Libreria, these are the books that we love recommending all of the time. Could you make sure you get some copies in? And we had a little stand with all of our favourite books on it. It was just like the worst kind of booktube book pushing, because we were actually there with the books being like, we love them, you should read them. But obviously that meant that I had to buy some as well, because I just couldn't stand being surrounded by all those books. So the first thing that I got was The Vegetarian by Hun Kang. Now this won the International Man Booker Prize last year. This is about a woman in Korea who decides that she's going to become a vegetarian, but what I gather about this book is that it's not told from her perspective, it's told from the perspectives of the people around her, and it's less about her deciding not to eat meat and more about her wanting to control her life kind of as a woman in this Korean society. That's what I've got from everybody's reviews, so I'm looking forward to reading it myself. The next one that I got was a recommendation from either Jen or Jean, I'm not sure who, and that was A Portable Shelter by Kirsty Logan. Kirsty Logan wrote The Grace Keepers, which I read last year, and I thought the story was good, but I really enjoyed her writing. So it's going to be interesting seeing it in another form, because this is almost like a book of short stories. It's about two women who are expecting a baby, and they've made a pact to not tell the baby anything that isn't completely true. However, they're breaking this promise to each other, and they're actually telling the baby stories in secret. So when one of the women's at work, the mother is telling her baby the stories, and then the other mother tells the baby stories while the pregnant one is asleep. And it just sounds like a really cute idea with all like the fairy tales, and I'm going to be interested to see how this one reads. Speaking of interesting, I also picked up The First Bad Man by Miranda July. So I read Miranda July's book of short stories last year, and I really enjoyed it. Her writing is very quirky, offbeat, abstract, but I just found that it really worked, and I was really sucked into her writing. So I'm going to be interested to see how that translates into a novel, because I don't know what this is about, and I don't really want to know going in. Like after reading her short stories, I feel like it could be about almost anything. So I'm quite looking forward to this, to see how I like her writing style in the form of a novel compared to short stories. I also picked up Just Kids by Patti Smith, which has been around for the longest time and everyone has raved about, and I've never had like a massive urge to read it because I don't really read memoir, but for some reason I just thought, yeah, do you know what? Everyone has said it's really good. I want to read it. It's about her relationship with the artist Robert Mapplethorpe when they were young. And I think it is always interesting hearing from artistic people, especially when they're talking about their own lives and how, you know, how they became who they are today. But I think also well-written memoir is always quite interesting to hear about because it's someone's real life and real story. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then the last one that I got was a complete whim. But I love this about bookshops because you can just walk past a shelf and think, well, I'm buying all these books anyway. One more can't hurt, I'll just grab that. And I did that with Kindred by Octavia E. Butler because I've been meaning to read this book for ages and I just thought, do you know what? I've got the opportunity, let's just pick it up. This is like a science fiction slavery novel. It's about a woman who's living in California in the present day, and she unwillingly time travels back to a time on a plantation in the pre-Civil War era, and I think the people that she meets back there are actually her ancestors. So it's a bit of a kind of slavery time traveler's wife type narrative, and I've heard such good things about it, and I'm really interested to read some more kind of fiction which includes slavery because I've just finished Homegoing last month and I really enjoyed that, and that's a bit of a kind of sort of time travel but not in a science fiction way. So I'm really looking forward to this. I would love to hear from you if you've read any of these books already, if you have any recommendations for me for which ones I should read first, which ones you really enjoyed, that would be fantastic. I am hoping to read the ones that haven't come out yet sort of sooner rather than later because I feel like that is the point of getting an advanced copy so that then I can let you know what it's like before it comes out. So thanks for watching and I will see you in my next video. Bye!